schedule. I can, however, give you a TTO on April 4th, 2024 at 12:14 a.m. Oh man, what a day. Jesus Christ. Today is April 4th, 2024, 12:15 a.m. It is pitch black outside. I say pitch black with a big asterisk because if you ever taken a walk through the night, you might notice that the sky is actually never pitch black. It's more of like a browny blue. Uh, never really there's so much light pollution in the air, that stars are hard to see and nights aren't actually that dark when you think about it. It's the rule of comparativity. What a day, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Jesus Christ. But what a day, good Lord. Thank him too. uh, Tall order today, I suppose. I'd like to say it was a bit more of a productive day, and it technically was, but not really by much. I got a noise complaint today. That's cool. I guess no more playing games early in the morning, but I can't really play them at night because it seems to amplify the problem. So I guess just no more horror games. The only thing that brings me joy. I guess I'll just end it all. Whatever. I don't need to live or be happy. That's okay. Just gotta live by everybody else's rules. No blood curdling screams at 10 a.m. Yeah, grow up, Grandpa. Bastard. Nah, everybody's I don't know what those kind of people are going through in the day. Um, I guess we'll just talk about a few things. I'm not sure how long I want to make this one. It's going to be 1 a.m. by the time it's all said and done. Uh, you might notice that it's not being posted anywhere near the beginning of the brand new day. It'll probably be more tomorrow morning when I actually wake up. Uh, as well, draw the thumbnail and edit and whatnot. I don't edit my audio, but I do brush it up every now and then. Any long periods of silence, I'll go ahead and chop those up a little bit. Um, Today played a couple games, not that many. Got some writing done today. I did go to the store today, Walmart. Not gonna lie to you, I was kind of looking for a guilty pleasure purchase, some form of steel book or another. The only one that I could really think on the shelf that I would have wanted was Caroline or Coral. Is it Coraline? They make a whole gag about it in the movie that there isn't that everybody gets the pronunciation wrong, but I feel like I get it wrong too. So either the steel book for Coraline or I'm stuck in my throat. In my between my teeth. I got it. Or the steel book for the Batman, which man, I guess I can't really justify purchasing because I already own the Batman on 4K. I would only want the steelbook because I love the look of the look of the steelbook. It's absolutely spectacular. Uh, really isn't anything extra that comes with that. I think actually it might come with less discs. And I can't really justify the purchase for Coraline because I don't feel myself wanting to rewatch it. Excuse me, that often. I If I owned it, I probably would because when I did own it, I did rewatch it a fair bit. But it's not something like Ratatouille where I rewatch it all the time as a kid, and now that I own it, I'll just pop it in sometimes for shits and giggles. Um, oh, uh, Let me speed through this quickly so I can explain why this episode is being recorded so late. Went to Walmart today looking for a guilty pleasure purchase, preferably a movie or a toy or something. I ended up not being able to justify anything in my head, or I guess I just talked myself out of it. Um, did end up walking out in addition to uh, a few snacks, which I'm trying to purchase less of. Uh, some water flavorants. Already not sitting well with me. They're made with sweeteners and not sugars, and sweeteners make my tummy feel weird. They make it feel like I constantly have an empty stomach. Uh, but I did end up walking out with a plant. I'll try to put a plant in today's piece of episode art. It is I believe it is called a hanging Jenny, and I got it at Walmart for about 3.95 ish. It's a beautiful little hanging plant. I've been wanting a new plant for my room. The only other plant that I had when I came in here was a cactus that was DOA. It was some sort of water plant, excuse me, not a cactus. That died before I moved. Uh, and the only other thing that I've had is this plastic plant that sits atop my. All right, we're back. Sorry about that abrupt cut. I was recording and out of nowhere, yesterday's audio started playing, so I had to fix that. Any whoosies, the only other plant that I have in my house is a fake plant that sits atop my miniature mini fridge. I add as many minis as I can to stress that it is nowhere near an actual fridge. It is more of a cooler. It can only get drinks or anything inside of it down to about maybe 60 degrees if you're praying and hoping enough. It will not actually cool anything down to the temperature of, I think regular fridges get to about 40, which is 40 or 30 thereabout, which is about where you want it. High 30s, excuse me. Not very fluent on temperatures. I guess that when I bought this fridge, it told me not to stick any meat or dairy in it for extended periods of time, or it couldn't be liable for me getting sick. I have learned that the hard way. Any whoosies, I don't want a plastic plant just being the only thing in my house. It's drab, never changes colors, doesn't really give the same look or feel as a regular plant, just straight up doesn't. And it gets dusty all the damn time. The plastic resin molded rocks in there don't look very nice either. This plant, I'm excited to have it, just see what happens with it. I bought it a resin pot and put a Marlboro cigarette carton sticker on it. Looks pretty sweet, pretty epic in my opinion. A good purchase, and if I can keep it alive for more than a month, which I'm going to try my best to do, I'll be looking forward to getting some more. Hopefully, they can act as a natural air purifier because I think the air in here is absolutely dreadful, and a plant would probably help out. Um, After I went to the store, workshopped a little bit with some buddies of mine, did some writing, and I substituted today's what would have been bike ride with a walk. Um, I just decided, I just didn't feel like it either. My bike is put in a big metal carton case shed, other shed to shield it from the rain that happened last night, and I didn't feel like getting it out. And also I ate dinner right before I would have usually had my bike ride, which would have slowed me down, made me feel sluggish, and discouraged me from bike riding again. And I really do at least want to keep up an active lifestyle more so or less this month. So I opted for a walk instead. It ended up being just about as long, if not longer. And I took the same route that I would have taken if I biked ride. Um, which I'm not sure what that says. My bike ride, a bike ride around the same route would be the same time as a walk for me, but only by a little bit. I don't know. I did skip an extra mile, so I didn't take the same route. It's too confusing. I'm too tired and my brain's all scrambled. The only reason that I'm recording now instead of tomorrow is because I really want to work towards the goal of this month of watching at least 4 movies a week. That is 16 movies in total a month. And I would like for a good handful of the movies to be the movies that I already own, that are on my shelf, that I have not seen yet. Today, I broke that rule, however, did not watch a movie that was on my shelf that I had not seen yet. Instead, I watched a movie that my mom suggested to me that I should have watched, that I have never seen before, and she has asked me a while ago to watch it, so I decided to knock it out today because I thought it was going to be a short flick, and as you could tell from it being tomorrow, it was not as short as I thought it was. Um, it was called Stripes, starring Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. Um, I cooked myself some dinner before watching it, sort of chicken and noodle Alfredo pasta style doohickey. And by the time I was done, it was about 10 on the dot. Check the IMDb page, not the IMDb page, the letterbox page. Oh, good lord, it's gonna be really hard to review this when I'm at this level of energy. Oh, let me try to speed run it. So the letterbox page said that it would be about 100 and oh god, 120. No, how long? How long is an hour and 30 minutes? Whoa, I gotta. What's going on with me? 100 and not 130 minutes. An hour is 60 minutes plus 30 would be 90 minutes, and the page said like 100. So I thought it was gonna be like an hour and 40 minutes, and it was 2 hours, which is only 20 minutes more. But the movie is paced in a way where I'm not gonna go into spoil. I'm not really gonna go into spoilers. It's hard to spoil it because it's like such a, it's a comedy. But I mean, it's not hard to spoil comedies. But for this one, it feels hard to spoil. I will say this: if you're interested in going into Stripes Blind, I'll let you know that it is really good, and I think that you should watch it. Uh, and I think if you like anything ever done by Bill Murray and or Harold Ramis, you will enjoy yourself thoroughly. Um, I also think that. Oh wow! Okay, okay, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. Please stop making me yawn. Um, so if you want to go into completely blind, I'm going to talk about spoilers now. Or I'm going to passively mention points of the movies that may or may not be considered spoilers to some people. Uh, there is their sergeant. Oh God, how do I say? Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. They go into the army because their life sucks. So they're just like, let's go into the army. Their drill sergeant sucks. He gets blown up one day, and they have to pass graduation all by themselves without any help from their drill sergeant. And the second that their drill sergeant dies, which is about 40-ish, 50-ish minutes into the movie, um, they go to oh fuck, what happens? It's so great. No, it's like 50 minutes into the movie. Wait, so it's like the first hour of this movie makes total sense, right? It's like it's Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. Their life stuck in wherever they live. I'm assuming it's New York. It's a big bustling city. I'm assuming that's where they want you to think it takes place. And it sucks. So they sign up for the army, and they go to the army, and obviously it sucks. You get a cool montage of them training and everything, and then Harold Ramis is like, this is not the name of the movie is not Harold Ramis, and Bill Murray's character's name is not Bill Murray. I just already forgot their names. I think it's like Russell and John. I think, uh, but I can't remember which is which. So Harold Ramis just goes to Bill Murray. He's like, "Hey, get me the fuck out of here." Bill Murray goes, "Okay," and he just cuts, and they just walk onto a random airplane, and Harold Ramis is just taking a bunch of LSD out of nowhere. That's cool. It doesn't even come up later. Um, and they hop into this airplane, and this is going into like the middle of like Guatemala or something like that. And so they just get dropped off there, and then they get kidnapped by like just like this band of people, and the band of people offer him a giant Cuban weed blunt cigar thing. And so Harold Ramis goes, "Here, you should have this," and he gives them the LSD, and they have a big stew pot in the middle that they're making like stew in, and they just pour it all in, and I guess they're just I guess they just all go insane. They're about to shoot them, and then they just start singing the same word over and over again, and then they get back onto the plane, and then they train a little bit more, and then they're yeah, I guess this is full spoilers. Uh, then they train a little bit more, and then their sergeant gets blown up by a stray what's it called? Motor. The thing you put in the pipe, and it goes boom, that thing, and he gets blown up, and they don't have a sergeant for 2 weeks, and they have to train themselves to fight to pass graduation, or else or else they'll have to start basic training all over again, and they can't leave because that's a federal offense. So so what they do is they all go out to a naked lady mud wrestling bar, and they just get shit faced, and then they immediately get busted by the cops. And then Harold Ramis and Bill Murray go to have sex with some random ladies in the sergeant's house, and then they come back 2 hours later, and the guys all got busted. They're like, "Where the fuck were you?" And they're like, "We were having sex with two other women," and they're like, "Okay, well, we're all gonna fail tomorrow, and we're gonna be in here for another 6 weeks, and we can't take it anymore." So they train themselves to do the dance, not the dance, but like the whole sequence with like the guns and everything. And they do it a little bit silly, but they actually do it pretty good. Like, it looks pretty good. They're there an hour late, but the guy, whoever, whatever guy they're trying to impress is like, "I like the way you boys work. You're now in charge of taking care of the brand new bus thing." And they're all like, "Yay." And with the way that the movie is paced, that feels like the end of the movie. It feels like the sergeant should walk on from screen left in like a cast and be like, "I'm very proud of you, Bill Murray," and shake his hand, and then it feels like the credits should roll. i I thought that's what was happening, because the second that it did, I started cleaning up my dishes. Like, I was about to wrap it up. I was like, "Okay, let's go." It's like 11:30. I could record it to Tio. That was a good movie. And then I look at the clock and I go, I think I still have 40 minutes left. And I go, "Well, that's impossible." So 20 minutes go by, and they're put in charge of looking after this bus, and they're in Italy, by the way, and they all go off to like vacation for the rest of for the rest of Italy. For the weekend, excuse me. They'll go to vacation in Italy for the rest of the weekend, just to do whatever they want. All the army people, except for Harold Ramis and Bill Murray. the the sergeant guy is like, "I don't like you two, so you're gonna sit here and watch this bus, cause fuck you." And then they all walk away, and so Bill Murray and Harold Ramis are like, let's just go drive this thing to Germany," because the girls that they had sex with earlier, they're in Germany. So they're like, "Let's just drive this thing to Germany." Actually, that's not the entire scene. They say one of my favorite jokes in the entire movie, where like Bill's like, "We should drive to Germany," and Harold Ramis is like, "No, no, no." And he's like, "Let's drive to Germany. Let's drive to Germany. Come on, let's go." He's like, "No, no, 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 no." And then Bill Murray's like, "I'll drive," and then Harold Ramis goes, "Okay." And they drive to Germany. It's so funny and clean. And one of the sergeants, not the sergeant from before, but one of the sergeants above that guy, sees that the bus is missing, and he goes, "Oh shit." And so they go to try to find it, but they keep it quiet, because if they know that the bus went missing, that guy will get in big trouble. So they try to go find it, and on their way, just get kidnapped by Russians. So that stinks for them. They get kidnapped by Russians, and when they're done having sex with the girls in a hotel in Germany, they go back into this bus, which, by the way, is an urban camper van, which is actually a tank, which is actually really awesome and cool. It's like a great set piece for the movie. Uh, they hear from like the inside communicator of the big army bunker thing that excuse me, that their friends are being captured. So they do a whole cool sequence to get them out, and they finally get them out. And they have a little sequence at the end where they're all walking out of a plane with a paparazzi around them, and it cuts to every single character's face, and it lets you know via like a magazine cover, like a newspaper article, like where they are now. And the sergeant is like in charge of like a burger chain, and everybody else is just like the center of like a magazine issue. So that's pretty cool. Good tight little movie. Um, I find it so funny that uh, everybody's perceptions of like 80s movies is like I don't even know how to put it. Like low poly wireframe CGI and like spaceships and like 8 bits and beep boops and synth and everything. And that's a lot of them, right? But I feel like also a lot of the movies are just like this. They're just like quiet, not quiet. They're like movies that really feel like they could fit in almost any decade. They really like, if it wasn't for things like actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, there's nothing that really like dates this movie. Nobody really uses TVs or cell phones, so seeing that kind of technology doesn't really like give this movie any sort of date, because there's so much of a lack of it, that the presence of it being gone is completely like doesn't even register to you. Nobody's clothes have like any particular what is it logos on them. I guess really the only thing that could date anything in the movie is probably like people's haircuts, and then just like the way that they dress sexy ladies, because sexy ladies dressed in the 80s are very differently dressed than how you would dress sexy women now. Uh, it's just fashion, you know. It's just fashion. It changes with every decade. But even then, it's pretty plain Jane back then. I was surprised how timeless the film felt. It was obviously older, but if you watch it for the first time without looking at what year it was made, you probably couldn't tell. There isn't a lot of clues to give it to you. Not even like who were fighting in the war, because it feels like those movies just always choose the Russians because they because it seems like in every situation they'll just always be the bad guys. Uh, they have been the bad guys for too long for us to not to see them as anything else, but for us to miss up on that opportunity. It's either Russians or it's aliens, because those can immediately just be simply registered as just these are the bad guys, and you're like, okay, I get it. Um, Good little flick. I'm glad I stayed up to watch it. I'm glad I waited to record this to Tio to talk about it. I said last night that I was going to try to read before bed. Last night I did not get a chance to read before bed. I was just too damn tired. I put the book next to my bed, saying I was gonna read it when I woke up, and I slept in, and then I was like, I don't want to read that stupid book. Uh, so my new goal isn't to finish that book and start a new one. It's just to finish that book at some point this month, just so I could use that bookmark for another book. Hopefully, the Jamie Hewlett book, which I've been meaning to crack open. Uh, I will say this: my place is a mess. There's just remotes everywhere, and socks, and like crumbs and stuff, and like packaging for junk food, and just things in bits and bobs everywhere. And it's not bothering me particularly hard. I kind of like working in a place that's ever so slightly not messy, but like it's like lived in, just like broken in. It can't be too clean, it can't be too messy, but I feel like this is bridging on too messy, and I've been really meaning to have just like a completely clean apartment, because it's a very good feeling, and I want to have a dedicated place to put this plant. And oh, actually, while I'm here, I'll go ahead and open the window so the plant can get sunlight before I wake up, because I usually wake up at 9, and I'll miss a few hours of daylight for it. It says to give it 4 or 5 hours of daylight every day. I'm going to try to give it just as much as it can. I mean, what's the harm, really? Uh, but yeah, no, that's me. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, God, I hope it was worth it. God, I don't even know what I'm going to watch tomorrow, because I got a bike ride tomorrow and watch something tomorrow and clean, which isn't going to be hard to fit all in, but I got to remember to do it earlier. Do not start at 10, start at like 8. Start at like 8. Even though that seems pretty early, because start at 8. I wonder what I'm going to watch tomorrow. Maybe I'll just go ahead and stick with the theme of just like 80s movies that I need to catch up on. Maybe I'll just watch 16 Candles. I have the DVD for it anyways. But will that ruin my inside joke? Do you not understand my inside joke with 16 Candles? Be sure to watch the last episode of Titio. Until then, I'm walking over here, hitting the stop record button. Where's the stop record button?